It's me, Eugen, from TheNerdyCoder, and as you can see, today things are a little different. Rather than Eclipse like I normally use, I've got this little off-spin called Aptana Studio 3, though I like it, it's not absolutely necessary to this tutorial series. All you really need is some sort of editor, like even if you want, you can just use like Notepad, or in my case, TextEdit, or this if you want. I just use this because it's just easier for me to use. Anyways, let's get on with this. This is a HTML coding series, so because I doubt you have any experience with HTML since you're watching this, or maybe you have a little, then you can skip this episode. I'm just going to go over the basics of HTML. HTML is the hypertext markup language used by today's computers for the internet. Pretty much what it does is it reads things called tags that look like that, where you've got your start tag, just your name in between those two brackets, and then you've got the same thing but with a slash, thus terminating it. Now, there's a really easy way to think of this. If I go over here to TextEdit, you know how there's lists, right? I'll just create one here with bullet points. So let's just say this is that HTML tag we've got. So we've got it there, and then we can branch off into that and make things like here. I'll just insert head, which is another thing which works with the head of your web page. So you've got head, and you can include all sorts of different elements within this tree kind of shape HTML. So even these elements can have stuff. So we'll just insert a paragraph here, which is marked by P. And all these different tags, they're just kind of built in, nothing fancy. But we can just say this is a paragraph of text. I hope I spelled that right. And now if we run this, it'll just pop up in my internet thing. There you can see in the header of the file, or the page, it says this is a paragraph of text. Pretty neat, huh? Now, it's a little confusing at all when you first try to use this, but honestly it gets easier. You just need to know what goes in between the two kind of brackets there, and then when you're done working with it, insert a forward slash to let the computer know you're done with it. So we can just come back over here and we'll just have this, and every value can have its own stuff. So within P, we've just got some text, and we'll just say this is a paragraph. We can go back down to head. We'll insert something more. It's like a header. This is a header. So yeah, there are headers. H1 through H6 are used, and this is a header. If you run this, you can now see headers are pretty big. H2's not as big, and H3 and H4, H5 and H6 all get a little different. When you're done with that, you can also insert like the body element, which is the main part of the page, and insert some stuff there. We'll just insert a list, which is represented by UL. And sorry if I'm going fast, but there's just so many different elements, I don't have time to explain them all in depth yet. I just want to go over a little bit of the syntax of this language and like writing some application, like web pages. So once you've got your UL, you can just add a list item, just like you added paragraphs. And we can say this is a list item, and this is another list item. And when you run that, you can get a list, bulleted list. It's pretty neat, huh? There's some other stuff you can do, like within these tags, there are values you can provide. So we'll say here, I've just got this little list that it brings up for me of what I can do. Just say style, no, title equals list. So, yeah, you can add title elements and stuff. And though it doesn't always show up, that's more of when you get into the cascading style sheets or CSS programming, which I hopefully will cover later. But list items, there's some stuff that you like. So yeah, type, you can put type equals 1, so it gives you a listed item. And if we just copy that and put it down there, I think it'll show up too. And don't know why it's giving me a warning. Oh yeah, well, type's deprecated. It's all good. It's all good. I doubt you'll be doing all HTML5 programming. There's some HTML2, 4 and stuff. Some other stuff you can add, like img and source equals whatever. So you can have image. And then notice this is a single flag object. So you can terminate something within itself, though you don't always want to do that. It doesn't work so well. And you can do other things, like most likely you'll be using a, which if you have a and the value href equals some sort of page, this will create a link. I don't know why it's called a, but it just is. If you put this is a link and put it, so you can click it and it went to that page as we specified earlier. I guess that's enough for now. But now that you kind of see how the syntax works with your flag, tag, whatever you want to call it, and everything continuing to go inside of it, just make sure you don't get things too mixed up. Like if I switch the end of head and the end of paragraph there, it doesn't typically have an error with that, though it's added all your heading stuff into the paragraph, so it's just good practice, if you know what I mean. And if you're just using a regular editor, there's some apps out there that I know of for iOS that contain all the data that I've shown you so far, all the different attributes and stuff you stick within the tags, and kind of goes over the syntax as well, if I didn't explain it well enough. It's just an app called HTML5. That's the latest version. If you want the specific one I use, it's this neat little V with HTML5 written over it, and it's got like the V made out of blue circular things. But that's about it for now. I'll talk to you next time. Yugen out.